What's up, FOA Squad? I'm Anthony, and welcome to our channel, Life with Anthony. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Happy Sunday to you guys. Before I get into today's Q&A, I want to ask FOA Sherry if you can send me an email with the correct spelling of your last name. You mentioned to me that I have your last name spelled incorrectly in the ending credits, but I cannot find that message to save my life. So if you can send me an email at foasquad@yahoo.com, I'll be sure to correct that for the next video. All right, guys, let's get right into this Q&A because there was a lot of questions. If you did not know that I posted on the community page to ask some questions because it's been a minute since I did my last Q&A. So I thought today would be a easy breezy going day and I just do a Q&A. So let's get right into this Q&A. I love doing Q&As because it gives you guys an opportunity to ask me specific questions that you like to have the answers to that you may not get the answer in my regular videos. So let's get right into it because I have a lot of questions and I don't want this video to be like an hour long, which I think it will be. All right, so the first question comes from Lois Cobb 687. Lois Cobb 687. And Lois asks, would you rather binge watch or weekly watch your favorite series? I am a Netflix junkie. I watch a lot of shows on Netflix, especially Korean shows, Asian type shows. Of course, you guys already know that. But I rather binge watch. I hate when there is, well, hate is a strong word. I dislike when they put out like 3 episodes and then you have to wait a week for the next 3 to come out. I like for all of them to come out so I can binge watch. I mean, I am here on a campground all day, every day. So to be able to binge watch something and watch the whole series, if I so choose to, I like doing that rather than to have to wait a week for the next couple of episodes to come out. What's your favorite type of music that makes you so happy that you have to sing out loud? This is also Lois Cobb, 687. Well, when it comes to music, I'm more of the music aspect of a song than the lyric aspect of a song. I think what catches my attention about any song is the music first. I love dance music. I love music that makes me bob my head and, hey, yeah, that's the type of music I like. Because I remember, when I was going out to the clubs and everything and hanging out in DC and it was like house music and everything. Oh my God, that was the best dance music because I love to dance and it was the best. So I like music. That's what get my attention first about a song is the music. And I like, even if it's a slow song, because some people, they get down with the slow songs. Hey, yeah. Even if the song makes me do a little of this. Yeah. That's what I like about a song, a song that makes me want to move a little, whether it's fast or slow, and I get with the song, So I'm more of a music type. So it really doesn't matter what genre of music it is. If I'm attracted to the music of the song, I can vibe with that song. All right, let's go to Cook Seuss. Cook Seuss asks, are you still planning on getting a bike? I don't know now because my plan when I was going to get a bike was to store it in my minivan when I'm traveling from one place to the next. But now I do not have that option. I'm not sure if getting a bike is going to be an option for me. I suppose I could put a bike right here, while I'm traveling from one place to the next. I could store the bike here. I can even possibly, if it's not too dirty, I can possibly throw it on my bed as well. But I don't know yet. I think right now I'm kind of calming down with spending big things and buying big things for a minute. And the next campground that I go to is really not bike friendly. I haven't seen anybody at that campground ride a bike. And I've been to this campground that I'm going to after here at least 3 times. So I don't know. I might wait until I get to the campground in Ohio, because that campground is more bike friendly than the next campground. And I'm only going to be at this campground for about 7 more days. I think I leave here next Monday. Not this Monday coming up, but next Monday. So I'm probably put it on pause until I get to Ohio, because I've been to that campground before and I know that that's a good campground to ride a bicycle around. And then after I leave Ohio and go to Hillside in PA, that's not a good bicycle campground either. So we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. I don't want to buy it and then be at a campground or be someplace that I cannot use it. And then I have a bicycle sitting around not being used. Okay, so K Flowers ask, did you shop the internet for your new car or seen it on the lot? I actually shopped online for the car. I started off by Googling um, mid-size SUVs, because I didn't want a full-size SUV because that would have been way out of my price range. But I started Googling mid-size SUVs with a 6,000 capacity. I don't think I put in 6,000. I just put in mid-size, and then when the different mid-size vehicles came up, I then went in and asked what's the tow capacity of those, and a few of them came up, but what it all came down to was the year of the car, how many miles was on the car, and the tow capacity. And I learned that most mid-size SUVs can tow 6,000 and up. Some of them can tow like 7,000. So that was my approach to it. First of all, just kind of get an idea of the different types of uh, mid-size SUVs that were out there. Then I looked up what the tow capacity of, and then I started looking at the year. I knew I didn't want to get a 2024 because that would have been out of my price range. And so I decided to get a 2-year car back, 2022. And this vehicle that I had only had 24,000 miles on it. And that's kind of right in line with what I guess the projected number of miles that you use in a year, which they're saying is 12,000. I think that should be raised to like 15,000. But anyway, yeah, so that's the approach I took. And then I looked at car dealerships. Once I decided on the Nissan, I looked at car dealerships around the area, and the one that I went to was in Fort Lauderdale, which was an hour and a half from the campground. And I called them. They had a gray one at first, and I didn't act on the gray one. And then when I went back, I guess days later, the gray one was gone. I would have loved to have gotten the dark gray one, and they just had this color that I have now. I love this color that I have now, but I was eyeing the gray one out first. But that one was gone, and that's what made me act on the car that I have, because I was like, oh boy, the gray one is gone. I better go ahead and move forward on this the red one that I got. So that's the approach I took. I just looked up mid-size SUVs, then I checked out the tow capacity of certain SUVs, and then I went with the 2022s. I was looking up 2022s, and then from there I was taking in consideration the price range. All right. K Flowers also asks, would you do a talk show if someone asked to interview you? I would not. I would not. I don't see myself as this RV or this van life pioneer of it. I'm not a Bob Wells or anything like that. I live a very quiet life, so to speak, and no, I would not do it. And then the last question that K Flowers asked is, would you do a reality TV show if they had a show about living in vans, RVs, or mobile vehicles? Once again, I think that coincides with my answer of the previous question. I would not do a reality show. Absolutely not. I don't even like reality shows. I think they're just over dramatic. I no, I couldn't be a part of any of that stuff. I'll be the most boring person on there. I don't know. I'll probably be laughing at, what other people are doing, but I don't know. I wouldn't do it. Alrighty. Meta Dorox. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Meta Dorox. METADEROCKS. Asks, do you miss your old career, old coworkers, and company? Absolutely not. I absolutely do not miss any of that at all. At all. I do not miss the politics of work. I do not miss, the different personalities of the people at work. I had one person that I keep in contact with, one person, and that was the stacker operator that I worked with most of my 3 years that I was there. He and I talk occasionally, or either we'll talk or we'll text occasionally. But other than that, I do not miss it. And even if I had to go back to work, it would not be in printing. I would get myself a little part-time job at a Home Depot or something like that at a Walmart. It would definitely not be back into printing. Okay, Speeda, Speeda723 asks, what are your top 3 things you hope to see do when you are in Beijing? All right, first, the only thing that I can really think about offhand is the Great Wall of China. I've heard so many YouTubers who have gone there, and just YouTube videos in general of people visiting China and went to see the Great Wall of China. Um, I chose Beijing basically because it was another Asian like country, and I do want to go to a couple more of the Asian countries, but I have less things that I on my list that I wanted to go see and do there than I did in Tokyo. But I'm just interested in general in the Asian culture and visiting different Asian cities and countries. So it's not a great big reason like, again, like Tokyo, like Japan. I knew I wanted to go to Disney. I knew I wanted to go to some temples. I knew I wanted to go to some of the markets and try their like street market foods and all that kind of stuff. I had more of an itinerary ahead of time when I went to Japan than I do for Beijing. But I think this trip is going to be a little more exciting because I don't have like a whole list of things that I would like to see when I go or do when I go to Beijing. So once I get there, I can just look up some things and then go and do them. So I think that's going to make it a little bit more exciting for me when I go there as opposed to when I went to Japan. I kind of had everything lined up of what I wanted to go see and do. Alrighty. And Speeda723 also asks, will you book your flights and accommodations through a travel agent online website or book everything yourself? The last 4 trips I've taken, starting from Canada, Mexico, I went to Mexico, Canada, um, Japan, Dubai. I booked all of those trips on Expedia.com. You can get, they'll give you the flight and packages with the flight and the hotel. If you need a rental car, they can add that into the final number or cost, and I like it. I like Expedia.com a lot because they keep track of everything for you. I can now go on there and look at all the trips that I've gone on, and I like having all that in one place because it kind of reminds me every time I take a trip and go through Expedia, I kind of look at where I have been, when I went there, et cetera, and how much I paid to go there. And I like that they keep everything nice and neat. And they also notify you when, like, if your flight changed or whatever, they'll send you a little notification that the flight changed. So then I can contact, because one of my flights did change. I think, was it Dubai? I think it was Dubai. Before I went to Dubai, one of my flights did change, and I got a notification from Expedia, and then I notified the airline. So I like Expedia a lot, and I probably will continue to use them. I did use Expedia again for this Beijing, China trip, and again, I probably use them even if I take a domestic trip. I still probably go through Expedia. Okay, Joanne Johnson 8334 asks, if you were stuck on a deserted island, what three things would you take with you? No vehicles. Now I thought about this one and I was like, okay, am I going to have cell phone service on this deserted island? Because that makes a difference in my answer. I actually have not even thought about if I did not have cell phone service. I thought of this answer as if I had cell phone service. So if I had cell phone service, Joanne, I would definitely have my cell phone, a power station, and a solar panel so that I can keep the power station going so I can keep my cell phone going. So those are three things that I would take. I would take my cell phone, a power station, and a solar panel so that I can keep my power station charged up so that I can keep my cell phone going. Now, if I didn't have cell phone service, I really didn't give this part any thought. I don't know what three things I would take. I mean, what would you? I mean, you don't have no food. You can't take a refrigerator. I don't know. I'm gonna keep my answer like it is, and I'm going to assume that I have cell phone service. Help! Help! Get me off of this island. All right. Love Monique ask. Love Monique ask. Will you ever have another meetup in New Jersey /PA area? I most certainly will. I've already had two meetups in PA at the same place, the ramen noodle place. I actually at one point thought about having a cookout at the park that I used to go to all the time when I was in PA, and have a lot of the FOAs come to that park and bring some food, kind of like a potluck type thing, and bring some picnic food, and we all just chill with some music and everything. I thought of that, but unfortunately, I will not be up in that area during the, I guess, picnic months. Um, but I would definitely be having, because I'm always going to be back in PA at some point. Of course, I have my storage unit there. I have my mail and everything there. So yeah, I definitely will be having another meetup, but I want to have it somewhere other than the ramen noodle place. I don't know. That's kind of good though. Maybe I will have the next one at the park, but not necessarily the whole picnic idea. So definitely be having one, and because I'm always, like I said, I'm always in PA. Okay, Flying with the Words. Flying with the Words asks, what made you decide to get a Pathfinder as your new ride? Well, I didn't have a Pathfinder in mind. Like, that wasn't like, oh, when I decided to make the move, it wasn't like I said, oh, I'm going to get a Pathfinder. Again, it was through my looking up different mid-sized SUVs, and seeing what dealership is in the area, and I just went with that one. No specific reason why it was a Pathfinder. It was the right miles. It was the right cost. It was in the area, sort of in the area, and I never had a Nissan before anyway, so I went and chose that one. So no real specific reason. Alrighty, R. Williams 5472. R. Williams 5472 asks, why did you decide to get rid of the minivan? All right, there are three reasons why I decided to get rid of the minivan. The first reason is there was a transmission leak in the minivan. And this transmission leak has been going on ever since Michael and me went on the Texas road trip. Michael, if you're watching this, remember when we were at one of the state parks and you asked me if I had my air conditioner on, and I said no, and you said, "Oh, something is leaking from your car," but I didn't pay any attention to it. I just let it go. Well, that was the transmission leak apparently. And when I got, y'all know that I get all my oil changes from Valvoline. On two occasions, Valvoline have told me that, I have a transmission leak. They unfortunately do not service that type of problem, but they have on two occasions told me that. So that was the first thing. I had a transmission leak. The second thing is about a week or so before I traded the minivan in, I started hearing a weird noise on the back wheel on the driver's side. And it felt like it wasn't a squealing noise or a squeaking noise. It felt like something was rubbing against something. And my first guess was maybe I need new brake pads or something like that. And and then the third and final reason was, okay, keeping up with the first two reasons. So I thought to myself, okay, do I want to invest the money in repairing the transmission? Because I may have had to, who knows, I could have had to have some hoses replaced. I could have had the, what is the pan called underneath there for the, I can't think of the pan that's underneath there that, the liquid and stuff is, I don't know what it is. I can't think of it right now, but I knew what it was when I was thinking about it. But that could have cost, $1,000 or so. And then I started thinking, okay, because I knew that I wanted something. Okay, and the third and final reason, jumping ahead, is because I wanted a greater tow capacity. That is the biggest reason. This this camper here, when I had the minivan, which the tow capacity is 3,500 pounds, it limited what I could buy, and that's basically probably why I bought this particular trailer, because it suits my minivan in terms of tow capacity very well. But I also know and knew that this was not going to be my final travel trailer, because I am on the campground list on two campgrounds to be a permanent resident there. And I would definitely not want this to be my permanent place once I get a permanent spot on a campground. This is just too small. Again, I chose this one because it fit my tow capacity of my minivan, and my minivan easily towed this. So I wanted something, I knew in the future that I was going to get something bigger, not too much bigger. I'm now going to be looking at travel trailers that are in the 4,000 tow capacity, because my new vehicle can tow up to 6,000. So that opens up a whole new range of options of trailers that are still not too big, but bigger than this one that I have now. And you better believe that the next one is going to have, hopefully, if I can find, and if it exists out there, is definitely going to have a permanent bed, a dinette, a nice kitchen, and it's going to definitely have a dry bath where the shower is separated from the toilet. You learn a lot when you purchase something and then you lived in it for a few months, and then you discover what works for you and what doesn't work for you. You discover what you would like to have better or improve better on for your next one. I knew that I knew this was not going to last, or I was going to keep this for a very long time. Now, with that in correlation with the vehicle, I decided that, okay, I'm going to get a new trailer eventually, and rather than to invest the money in a fixing the things on a minivan, I would just go ahead and change it over right now, and then I can start focusing on what type of trailer that I really, really want. I don't know if I can say really, really want, because I don't really, really want any particular one. I have been looking around, but woo, The counter space. That's the biggest challenge from what I've seen so far is getting another trailer that has this counter space. I'm not talking about that counter space because that counter space is probably going to be substituted with other different, maybe like cabinetry storage. But that cooking counter space is definitely important to me. Okay, inspire to be inspirational. Ask, did you ever imagine that you would be this successful on YouTube? Um, I hoped. I don't know. I can't even say I hoped because that wasn't even my focus. Like that wasn't even the reason why I was doing it to hopefully one day become successful on YouTube. Because at the time I was working still. And so it wasn't that big of a deal that I was not like making money on YouTube because I was working. Now, had I not been working and just decided to start YouTube and once I got monetized and this, that, and the other, it might have been a different story because the sense of urgency to make money would have been greater. But since it wasn't, and I had the time to, however long it took, just so happens it took about 8 years. I had the time to wait it out because I had a job. It's not like people quit or whatever circumstances they go into van life and have to rely on just that YouTube income right out the gate. I did not have that. I had the luxury of waiting it out because I had a job. So when the time came and the community, the FOA community started growing, I immediately, with the next month, quit the job. So when you, I guess, if you have in your head that you're doing it so that you can make money, I guess that is your hope. But again, I wasn't saying because that probably would have just that probably I probably would have gave up if that was my thought process of okay, when am I going to start making money so that I can quit this job? When am I going to start doing this and doing that? I probably would have given up by then. But again, I wasn't thinking about possibly being successful or I don't even call what I'm doing successful. I just call it a job now, and it feels normal to me. It feels natural to me. But if I was in that mindset, I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have made it. But I had the luxury of still earning a living, making money, and while YouTube or trying to develop my channel. Alrighty. CDD 1976 asks. CDD 1976 asks. Did you ever do you ever oh do you ever get the urge to curse some folks out who leave comments? Do you ever get the urge to curse some folks out who leave comments? I get very frustrated. I mean, I don't know if I get frustrated to the point where I want to curse some people out because I try to be very respectful because that is what I ask of people when commenting on in the comments, to be very respectful. But there are and has been many, many comments that irk my nerves and yes, I feel like just giving them some choice words and everything. But I also try to keep in mind that I must be just as respectful as I'm asking them to be of me, even though they are not of me. I think and another thing that I take in consideration is that I think a lot of people who though writes those type of comments have not been around long enough. They do not know who I am as a person. They don't know my journey from there to here. They may have only been following for 3 months or even 6 months. They don't know my backstory, which I have a video out. They just don't know who I am as a person. They just started recently watching and they starting from there, from that point, as opposed to starting from way back when point. So I take that into consideration, and every time that happens, that's my first thought is, this person haven't been following me for a very long time because they know. And those of you who have been following me for a long time, you already know. You already know that I will get on here and say something one day and then do something different the next day. You already know that. So when I do things like that, it shouldn't be no surprise. You guys should be like, oh, hey, Anthony, that's Anthony. Anthony get on. Anthony say he gonna do this, and then get right back on here and do the complete opposite. You already know. I have been doing that for like ever since I've had the channel. You guys know that, and that's what I say. That's the big difference between the FOAs who have been around long enough and know who I am. They know kind of my pattern and know kind of my thinking and everything, as opposed of the newer FOAs who do not know that, and those are the ones that when I do something like that, that it apparently upsets them that I do something like that. And I don't understand why it upsets anybody at any point. I really don't, because the whole concept of this channel is Life with Anthony. It's the decisions that I make in my life, which has absolutely nothing to do with the decisions that you make in your life. So I don't understand why the things that I do, even if I say something one day and then do the complete opposite the next day, I don't know why that upsets people to the point where they have to leave a negative remark or a negative comment. You know, the bottom line is it's Life with Anthony. And I am not sugarcoating. I could have edited so many things out all the years that I've had this channel. I could have edited so many things out. But this is a true, authentic look at my life, my everyday life. And some people, I guess some people just can't handle my everyday making decisions and this, that, and the other. But that is why I don't like go off the deep end when somebody say something or write a comment that I that ticks me off, because I just give them the benefit of the doubt that they haven't been around long enough. They really don't know who I am as a person. And that is why. Because again, those of you been around, you know. You know. All right, so my mother was right. 3079. My mother was right. 3079 asked, what's the greatest thing about being an influencer? What is the greatest thing about being an influencer? I think for me, the most gratifying moments of being a content creator is the meetups. I absolutely love, love, love the meetups. And the meetups exceeds the money that I might make here, because there's nothing like meeting up close and personal, putting a face to the name of some people that have been following you and supporting you. Uh, they are a huge part of why I am allowed to do what I am doing now. And to meet some of those folks up close in person is the best thing to me. It is the best thing. And it shows in all the meetups, because we sit there and we have a great time and we laughing, and FOAs are talking to other FOAs. It's not about me. They get to know each other and everything. It's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. And I love having meetups, and love meeting the people whether you've been around for 6 months, whether you've been around for 2-3 years, or however long. I absolutely love meeting the FOAs, and just getting to see them in person and talking with them. That is the most gratifying thing for me as a YouTuber, content creator, influencer. That's the best for me. Roz Blitz 3367 ask. Roz Blitz. Hey Roz. Ask, what are you going to do with your extra tents, and which one are you going to use at the current campground, and which one do you love the best? Okay, first of all, Roz and others, I don't have a lot of tents. you know, I either sent the tent back if I ordered it and it did not work out for me. I either sent it back, or I only have two tents. One tent and one like big screen. You know, the big brown one that I had that the squirrel chewed a hole in. I still have that one. Do I even have that one? Yes, I think I still have that one. The orange one is the one that I love the best because that one was the last one, through trial and error of several other tents. This one proved to be more suitable to me. It's big enough, it's easy to put up, it's easy to take down. It has the height. Because remember the one that I bought before that was the little green one? It was nice, but I couldn't even hardly stand up in it unless I was in the center of the tent. But then I sent that one back and got the orange one, who had a greater height in it and width in it. I had my queen size air mattress in there. It was good. I am going to put that tent when I go back to PA to pick up my tags for my car. I am going to put that tent in here, not in here, but outside in a little long part of the storage compartment. Just because since now I don't have the minivan and I don't have an option of where to sleep in my new vehicle, because I have some bins in there and I need to keep those in there, or at least one of them will end up being in there so that I can carry some things. So I'm going to bring that tent as well as uh, one of the air mattresses. I have three air mattresses, y'all. Three. A twin, a full size, and the queen. I have about three cooktops, two burner cooktops, and the new one that I bought with the kit. Man, I just have to take some time and get all that stuff together and decide what I want to do with it. But yeah, I like the orange one the best. Alrighty. The next question is from Miss Marcy Mac 50. And Miss Marcy Mac 50 asks, hi Anthony, have you ever slept in for a whole day just relaxing and watching TV? I have not. I don't think I can lay in this bed all day with my laptop on my lap watching TV. I would get the urge to get up and do something. So I have not had those types of days yet, but I have had days where I just like stayed in. It could be nice and sunny outside, and I have had days where I just kind of stayed here and not necessarily in bed, but stayed here in the trailer and had my air on and stuff. Somebody made a comment like, okay, because I said that I like to be facing the proper way so I can look out the window. And somebody said, well, go outside. I'm like, it's hot out there. Shit. Just like when I had an apartment, you know. You ain't go outside. You was in the house, when it's 95, 100 degrees, you don't go outside. You stay in your house and in your apartment underneath the air. Well, it's no different from me. When it's 90 and 100 degrees outside, I'm right up in here under my air. That's one of the best things and differences that I love about having a trailer now as opposed to just only having my minivan. I have an air conditioner that I have been putting to the test, let me tell you. So, no, I don't have those days. Beverly Williams, 6517 asks. Beverly Williams, 6517 asks. Anthony, do you find yourself spending more money by living in your trailer and paying campground fees rather than having a home you can permanently live in after your travels on the road? All right. It's not about the cost difference between a campground and an apartment. It's not the cost difference for me. It's what I get out of. And I get nothing out of an apartment. I get nothing from there. I'm giving my money to somebody who I don't even know. I've never seen this, that, and the other. Whereas a campground, I'm getting much more. I'm getting friendships. I'm getting an opportunity to, you know, I've said this a few times already. One of the best reasons why I like going to all male campgrounds is the camaraderie that I am gaining with the people that I am meeting at all different types of campgrounds. That is the best. If I were not going to campgrounds, I would not have an opportunity to be around gay men, other gay men, because I don't go to clubs anymore, or unless I'm hanging out with one specific friend who he still is into the club scene. But other than that, I would not go to a club by myself. But so there's no opportunity for me to be around other gay men, and I think for me that's important for me. I like to be around other gay men and getting to know other people and hearing their stories. And I love the feeling of when I see someone at a campground that I met at a different campground and they remember in my video that I shot when I went back to the other campground down the road for the weekend to hang out with one of my camping buddies. And when I was in my little screen tent, uh, y'all heard the voice of two guys say, "Hey, we know you," blah, blah, blah. Those are the types of feelings and moments that I like. And they're here now, actually. And I actually remember their names and got to talk to them some more. So it's for me, it's about the camaraderie that I get from the all male campgrounds that I do not get from being in an apartment. And I love being able to go to different campgrounds, and because each campground have a different feel, each campground have different activities and stuff, weekend activities and things, and I like that. And yes, I can be in an apartment and paying all those extra bills that I don't pay at campgrounds, and yes, I can still go out and travel. But honestly, would you rather spend a month of rent in an apartment and you still have to go out and spend extra money anyway to go to the campground? So to me, that would be more expensive to have an apartment and then go out and the other thing about having an apartment is it's less secure to me. And what I mean by that is when you have an apartment, you first of all, you are in an agreement for a year. And second of all, let's just say YouTube is no longer supporting me. Then I'm in a pickle. I'm in a pickle now because I ain't making enough money now to pay for this apartment and all the other expenses that go with that apartment. If that happens to me now when I'm in a campground, I at least got someplace to stay. I at least have, I don't care if I end up staying in a rest stop, from rest stop to rest stop, from Cracker Barrel to Cracker Barrel. I have some place to stay and I don't have a car payment. So I don't have to worry about that. I just have to worry about making enough money for my cell phone. And, I feel more secure doing it this way as well, if that all makes sense. Okie dokie. KB2862 asks, how long does it take you to do 6,000 steps compared to 12,000 steps? It takes me about 45 minutes because I walk a specific path now, which is the road that goes out and in of the campground. That's at this particular campground. And then I walk around the whole campground. Not the whole campground, but the whole outskirts of it. I don't know how to say it, but the path that I have been walking at first before I hurt my leg. One time and then back. So it takes about 45 minutes. When I was walking 12,000 steps, it was taking me almost 2 hours to do so. So, does that make sense? Yeah, it was taking me about an hour and 30 minutes to do 12,000. So now it takes me about 45 minutes. And I can walk. I'm doing it actually a little quicker because I'm walking on a flat surface now, and as opposed to walking around the whole campground and different surfaces, rocks and grass that's uneven. I'm walking on a road that goes into the campground and out to the campground, and that's all flat. So I can maintain a better pace throughout that walk. All right. JW Survival asks, do you like the song Purple Rain? I do. I actually like that movie. I remember that movie. I like several songs from that soundtrack. I do like the song Purple Rain. All right. Flango Beast asks, what's up, Flango? What do you think about campground living? Is there, if there was something you would change about your lifestyle, what would it be, if any? I think the most thing I like about the campground lifestyle, excluding that, it's an all male campground, I think the best thing that I like is it's easy. It's easy and it's simple. I don't have to think about some things. I don't have to think about where I'm staying the next day. I don't have to get up and move every 2 days, every 3 days. I don't have to think about where I'm going next. I mean, to me, that could be a mental burnout as well as a physical burnout. Campground lifestyle for me is very, very easy. And I enjoy it. Again, sometimes it gets a little slow and a little boring, but I still would not trade the way that I live in or stay on campgrounds as opposed to being out there every day and have to move and shake and groove and this, that, and the other. I would not trade it for that type of lifestyle. I'd rather do it the way that I'm doing it, go out and take a trip, go out and go on a road trip, whatever the case may be, and then come back here to the campground, decompress, and things are cool. Rather than have to take a trip somewhere like I went to Japan or Dubai. I can't even imagine that I came back from one of those trips and had to hop right back in my vehicle and start shaking and baking again and shaking and grooving and looking for here and looking for there again. I just cannot imagine myself doing that, you know. So I like the simplicity of it, and it makes my life a lot easier. And at this stage in my life, I don't need the stress of where I'm going to park and where I'm going to take a shower. I don't want that. Alrighty. All right, we're down to the last question, and it's from Survivor for you to see. For you to see. Have you ever done sponsorship videos? Why don't you advertise your merch more often? Since you have purchased a new vehicle, will you give it a name? I'm not into the naming of vehicles and or trailer. I'm just not into that. Um, I just never got into sponsorships. When the community first started growing, I was getting sponsorships like out the wazoo. I mean, and it was so overwhelming. I did make a video or two about sponsorships and how overwhelming it is in that process. And I don't know the procedure of it. I don't know whether I can trust the company or any of those things. Um, and the other thing I like to say in coordination with that is I seem to be content with my earnings. I mean, it's allowing me to get the things that I want to have. It's allowing me to be on this campgrounds when I want to. I just feel like I don't need to be, and you may not think it's greedy, but for me personally, I don't need to be out there trying to earn every penny that I can. I'm in a good place. I'm in a good space, and I just never thought to get into it. I mean, I don't know how else to answer that. And about the merch, I recently, probably not recently, but probably a month ago now, hey, I go saying recently again, about a month or so ago, I couldn't sleep at night, and I woke up like 2:30 in the morning, and I got on my laptop and I redid my merch website. I took all the products off there that did not, from the time that I originally put the merch website together, that did not sell not one product. I took them all off of there, and I just have three products on. And the merch should be shown. You should be able to see the merch underneath each video. It's just three things. It's the apron, it's the hoodie, and it's a t-shirt. So if you want to buy a t-shirt from the FOAs, you can buy a t-shirt for the summer. If you want to buy a hoodie for the winter, you can buy a hoodie for the winter. If you want to cook, and I need to start putting my apron on when I cook. I'm horrible at, wearing the FOA gear and stuff while I'm making a video. Because when I wake up, I just put on some clothes. I don't be like, okay, today I'm going to film a video. Where's my FOA shirt or something like that? I know some people always represent their merch and whenever they make a video, but those people don't make videos as often as I make videos. But anyway, so there you have it. I don't really talk about it because it's there. It's under every video. So and most of you know that I do have a merch store. Again, I don't even know if I want to call it a merch store now. It's only three items in there. But I remember when I did in a video probably a month and a half ago, I did wear the apron, and people were saying that they can't find it. The apron is not a part of the list that was on there, and that's what prompted me to go back and redo it. And it's all set and straight now. So if you want to buy the apron, you should be able to buy the apron. It comes in 4 different colors. If you want to get a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, a hoodie or whatever, those 3 items are available. But I don't talk about it because it's underneath the videos. It's like everybody should see that they are there, especially when I went back and redid everything. So it's all set up. Alrighty, guys, that's going to do it for our Q&A. I hope that you learned something a little bit different from me, not too much. I try to pick out questions that were not asked before, rather than answering the regular normal ones. I probably should have answered some of the regular normal ones for newer folks that don't know or may not know the answer to that. But for now, that is going to be a wrap for today's video. As always, thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to watch my videos. I appreciate you guys. You know that. And I will see you guys the next time.